Hi everybody, Brian McNichols here from touringplans.com. If you're watching this later on YouTube, I'm not sure if I'll post it on YouTube, but if I do, and you're watching it later, or if you're watching it later on Facebook, which will always be possible, we do these live chats every Thursday around noon Eastern, almost every Thursday. It's usually either Angela or I, sometimes both. Not sure if it will be both this week. Angela was busy this morning, so she said if she could, she would swing through and join me, but for now, it's just me anyway. We also are most likely going to turn these into podcasts. I'm not sure when, at some point. Hi, Jane. We're going to be starting at some point, probably not until after the holidays. So like January, we're going to be starting up some Touring Plans-based podcasts. Well, probably one Touring Plans-based podcast where some of the other Touring Plans staff will talk about things that impact the crowds and the parks and, you know, go through some of our I guess, really nerdy stuff. And we will probably also be turning these live chats in. Rita from Scotland, nice. I've never been to Scotland. I always wanted to. It's one of my one. I will get there. I do have a Celtic jersey, but not sure if that's good or bad depending on where you are in Scotland, of course. But but we will also be using these live chats, especially the ones where both Angela and I are here, as podcasts because. You know, there's not really that much of a site element. Cheryl from Utah, and sorry, I'm missing some of these comments. I gotta get my stream up on my computer because my eyes are just not good enough to Aberdeen. I'd love to go to Aberdeen. A long time ago, my family was from Scotland, but I have never been there. I've been to, I think, all of the other countries my family is from, which is the rest of the British Isles and Germany. But my eyes are just not good enough to see all of the comments coming through. So let me get this up on here and mute it quickly so I don't get anything twice. So let's see here. Oh, why doesn't this work? Oh, Facebook, it's so annoying sometimes. Oh, Paige, University of Wisconsin. Hi, Tom. Tom is in Canada. 101 days till Walt Disney World. That's not too bad. I've only got, what's today, Thursday? 2 weeks today I leave for Disney World. Just for a weekend, mostly shooting videos. So if anybody is curious and hasn't checked out our YouTube page yet, head over there. Both Angela and I do lots of weekly videos. So those are pretty good. I have one where I point at a map talking about Hollywood Studios that will be out tomorrow on our YouTube page, and it's youtube.com/touringplans. I decided to do Hollywood Studios because it's kind of a weird park right now. I don't know. I keep describing it as that. I had to edit myself out of the video saying it's a really weird park like 12 times. But because there's only four rides, there's other attractions, there's shows and things, but Stacy is working on her touring plan in Pennsylvania. That's where I am, is in Pennsylvania, northeast Scranton area. She is working on her touring plans, wondering if Disney still allows one quick service meal to be used for 3 snack credits. That's a really good question. Unfortunately, the answer is it kind of depends. It was always one of those weird unsaid things that it just always depended on what cast members you got and whether they knew how to do it in the system. So the longtime cast members tended to be the ones that could do it for you. A lot of the other cast members didn't even know it was a possibility, let alone know how to do it. So a lot of times you'd have to ask 3 or 4 people before you would even, there's a bug flying in my face for some reason. You'd have to ask 3 or 4 people before you would even be able to do it. That is kind of still how it is, except that as the years go by, there are fewer and fewer cast members who even know it's a thing or know how to do it, if you can still do it. I'm honestly not even sure if it's something that you can still do. If you, it doesn't hurt to ask, but I wouldn't necessarily expect that it will definitely happen. Let's see. We have Brazil. Nice. We're getting very exotic. Janet from Minnesota. If you're near Angela, tell her we miss her. I told her to get her work done so she could join me, but let's see. Where are we? Shelley. Oh no, her dad is in ICU. That's terrible. We definitely hope for the best there. Mandy is only at 50 days. Nice, nice, nice. Kim will be there November 6th through the 10th. I will be getting there right at the tail of that, the 9th, I believe. I'll be at the first Christmas party. So if anybody watching this is going to be at the first Christmas party on November 9th, say hi. I will be wearing a red Touring Plans shirt and holding a big stabilizer contraption pointing a camera at my face. So I will probably be noticeable, unfortunately. Still get kind of embarrassed doing that for a while, but it wears off surprisingly quickly. Oh, Sarah just got married in Disney at Seabreeze Point on the boardwalk. That's beautiful. I love that area. And that view from there is gorgeous. Jules says, first-time goers at Christmas, are they okay to miss the Very Merry Christmas Party? They don't want to buy the extra tickets for $9. No, that's understandable. That's I mean, those the Christmas party tickets, I'm not sure where they start, but I imagine it's somewhere in like the $80 range. So for 9 people, that's a lot. I think, especially for the first time, I don't think it's a big deal to not go to the Christmas party. There is so much stuff there at Christmas time that you don't have to pay extra for. I mean, the decorations will still be up in the Magic Kingdom no matter what. The Epcot starting November 17th, I think, somewhere in mid-November, they start doing their Festival of Holidays, where they have storytellers at each of the pavilions in World Showcase, and they're really cool. They tell the history of the Christmas or holiday, not necessarily Christmas, the holiday traditions from that area. So and you know, they're actors doing it, so it's really interesting. Plus they have a gospel group that sings there. There's the Candlelight Processional, which you don't necessarily need tickets for. You can see parts of it from the walkway, or you can wait in the very long line to get seats for it if you're really interested. That doesn't start usually until after Thanksgiving. All the resorts are decorated. The deluxe resorts especially have fantastic decorations. Wilderness Lodge, Grand Floridian, Animal Kingdom Lodge are some of the better ones because they have the gigantic trees in their lobbies because they have those big soaring lobbies. The point is there's a ton of stuff that you can still do at Christmas that is very holiday related without having to pay the extra money. So I don't think it's a big deal. And if you go back next time in the holidays, then maybe you want to do something different and throw that in, especially if you can use that as a park day, meaning because with the ticket you can get into the Magic Kingdom starting at 4 p.m. and stay until midnight. So if there's a way that you can, if you can save money by cutting a day off of your ticket, depending on how long the ticket is, it may or may not be a savings. If you only have a 2 or 3 day ticket, cutting a day off could save you, $50, $60 a person, somewhere in that range. If you're talking an 8 or 9 day ticket, it's $10 a day basically. So then it's not much of a savings. But John says, commented about my Hollywood Studios video that says they're going there soon for nostalgic reasons. Yeah, there's one of the videos I want to shoot when I'm there in a couple weeks is a top 5 reasons to still go to Hollywood Studios. Because there are still reasons. They have good nighttime shows. They have only 4 rides, but in my opinion, 3 of them are some of probably the top 10 rides in Disney World. So, Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, and Star Tours are all fantastic rides. Maybe not top 10, but in the, top section of rides. And Toy Story Mania is a really cool ride too. So they have good rides there. It's just there's not a lot of other stuff to do. They have some good shows, although a lot of their shows have aged kind of a lot. The Beauty and the Beast and the Little Mermaid shows have been there for so long. Why am I getting so many angry faces? Are you people angry at Hollywood Studios or me? I mean, I don't, it's fine. It's kind of a funny looking face, but I'm seeing that go by the screen a lot. It's starting to get worrisome. Let's see. Gene asked, will the Hall of Presidents be open for my trip in 15 days? I doubt it. The Hall of Presidents is turning into a really, really strange story because It sorry, just a second. I saw Angela jump on here, and I wanted to invite her if she would accept the invitation. Hall of Presidents is a strange story. Hey,
Hello,
you made
sorry
it.
I'm late. I was filming.
Well, I got to put my headphones in now so I can hear you talking.
Oh, I'm so loud. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I just didn't want it to. Didn't want it to reverb on me. So, what's
Hi
up?
guys, how are you?
Good. I was telling them to pressure you to get your work done so you could make it. So.
Okay, I literally got done filming, grabbed a granola bar, and ran upstairs. So I'm sorry I'm gonna be eating during this.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'll talk nonstop as usual anyway. So
Okay,
I was just
I'll be quiet.
I was just answering Jean's question. She asked if the Hall of Presidents would be open in her trip in 15 days. The answer is almost definitely no.
Yeah.
But I was saying because it's such a weird story because every time there's a new president elected in the U.S., the Hall of Presidents gets updated. The normal way of doing it is that the new president gets a speaking part, a new animatronic, and is one of the only presidents to speak. I think it's just the current one and Abraham Lincoln, if I'm not mistaken, that have speaking roles in the show. So when the new president was elected, it went down for its normal refurb. And there's been all sorts of stories as to why that the new president hasn't recorded what they wanted, that, and then there's, I mean, literally everybody in the world knows the situation with our current U.S. president and how controversial it is. And now the feeling is kind of that Disney just doesn't want to get involved in that. They haven't said literally anything, which is why it's so strange, because there's just a sign out saying that it's under refurbishment. No clue as to when it's coming back. They took the date out of the travel agent refurbishment list. It just says under refurbishment. They don't even give an approximation of a date. So
Well, at one
who
point
knows?
there was so much drama that didn't Disney have to say like, we've had a hard time scheduling a time to get his part recorded, but we have scheduled it now. That was a while ago, though.
That was months ago. Yeah, that's what I mean. And since then they just haven't said anything. So who knows? But I would imagine if it's going to come back anytime soon, they would at least give us a date on it. Yeah, it literally says, if you go into the travel agent refurbishment list, it says refurbished from January 17th, 2017 to TBD. And that's it. That's what it says now. At one point it said July, then it said fall, now it just went to TBD. So who knows what's going to happen with that?
I mean, it's such a touchy subject to even talk about live because it's so controversial for so many reasons. So
yeah,
I mean, it remains to be seen when it will, be in the
It seems
again.
weird just to not open it. I mean, like it seems like they should either say something and change it, or just say, okay, we're opening it like we always did. Like, I don't, just saying nothing is the really weird part of it.
Well, and some people have been saying, will it anger a lot of guests? Will the attraction be vandalized just because of these strong opinions? So, I mean, I think right now it's a little bit safer just to keep it closed.
Yeah, and I get that. The idea of people vandalizing a theme park attraction because they don't like a president sounds so weird to me.
I mean, what are you gonna do? Like throw like a Mickey bar at it?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I can't. I don't want to talk too much about it because we're gonna start.
Yeah. Now, let's see. John said, "How busy are the Starbucks inside Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom?" The spouse is a theme park coffee addict. We will be there in January. I have experience with this.
I was going to say, I have a feeling you know the answers.
Because I have young children and coffee is my lifeline. The Hollywood Studios Starbucks line, when I went last, it really wasn't busy. It really wasn't that bad at all. The entrance was a little tricky just to kind of figure out what side to go in. And then I have not been to the Animal Kingdom one, but I imagine with, Pandora bringing the crowds up that it's going to be somewhat busy, especially if people are getting there before rope drop.
I think that's what it is. I think before the official park open is when they're the busiest. The Main Street Bakery one in Magic Kingdom, and the one in Hollywood Studios at what is that? Is it the Red Trolley Cafe, something like that?
Yeah.
And then the Creature Comforts one in Animal Kingdom are all in the area that you can get to before the park officially opens. So when people don't know what else to do, they get in line to get coffee. And then that line will carry over a little bit after the park opens, which always kind of cracks me up, because if you're going to get up and get to the park before it opens, and then when the rope drops, you're standing in line for coffee instead of going to ride a ride, that kind of defeats the purpose of getting there early in the first place.
I will say that the line looks a lot longer than it is. I mean, they are long lines, but I would say that it goes fairly quickly. Disney's really good about getting the orders right for the most part and going fast.
It goes quick, and especially if you're just getting a regular coffee and not a specialty, it doesn't take long at all. But yeah, once you get about 15, 30 minutes after the park opens, there's almost no lines for any of them anymore.
Yeah. Just probably that 3 o'clock slump. So afternoon Starbucks will be much easier at Walt Disney World. Again, it depends on the time of day. I'd say so, John. But yeah, that 3 o'clock slump for me is when I want coffee. So I'd say that mid-afternoon when it's hot and people are tired is when it's going to get busy again. But you should be fine.
Yeah. Angie from Maryland. I used to live in Maryland for a few years. She asked if we know when the Christmas party schedule will be released. That is usually not until right near the first Christmas party. Sometimes we don't actually get it officially until we see the map for the Christmas party, which usually starts popping up on, it starts popping up on the cast member portal, which means then it starts popping up online like a couple of days before, and that's about it. You can use the one from last year. They're pretty close. Unless there are new shows or they get rid of a show, they tend to be real similar to the previous year. So you can use that for now and then a couple days before. So I see Kim says she'll also be at the first Christmas party, which is sold out now. I don't know if you saw that.
Is it really?
Yeah, today it's sold out, which is the first time in like 4 years, I think, that the first one sold out. And it's only in the last 10 years, which is how long I've been tracking the parties. It's only sold out, I think, 3 times, the first one. So it's going to be a little busier than I thought it might be. But.
Well, I think my husband is going to join us now when we go to Florida.
Oh, nice.
Going to work. So we're going to try to get him a ticket for the 14th. So hopefully that does not sell out. And if you will be at the Christmas party at the 14th, I will be there too. I will probably have mini ears on, so come say hi to me. Don't be shy. We'll take a picture and post it and say hi and blah, blah, blah. It'll be good. Good time. And you're going to the first party, right, Brian?
Yep. Yeah, that's what I didn't say it because I talked about this before you jumped on. But yeah, I will be at the first one. So, and I also invited everybody to say hi. I will be very noticeable because I will be talking to myself. Oh no.
We get a competition, Brian. You're gonna have your Terrain Plan shirt on, so you're gonna be able to see. But we should see, you guys. We should see how many pictures we can get. With
you just love competitions.
I'm a very competitive. I'm training for a competition right now, so I'm just like very competitive at the moment. So we should see how many pictures we can get with you guys.
In jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm crazy. I don't know why I'm doing this. It's in a week and a half, and I'm kind of freaking out now because I'm realizing that my practices are like, I'm like running out of limited time to get practice in. So we'll see. But I like this idea. Brian, I can tell you're not really into it. But
I'm fine. Yeah, no, I'm fine with it. I just have a feeling I'll lose. So
I don't think so. I think that with that.
Although, like you said, I will be more noticeable than you will be probably. So. Because I will be wearing the shirt and I will be talking at my phone like a crazy person. So.
And we will probably, we'll both be Facebook Living, I'm sure, at that point.
I hope to. I might not from the Christmas party. We'll see. As I'm shooting a lot of videos for our YouTube page when I'm there. So any live stuff, I hope to do some live stuff at some point through the weekend. Mm-hmm. But it's just going to have to be whenever I get ahead of my schedule and have 30 or 40 minutes. Then I'll jump in and do that. But probably from a bar or something. So
knowing you, you're just gonna like set it up with your beer.
I tried to do that last time from Jock Lindsay's, but I couldn't get a good enough connection to do it. So.
Oh yeah. Well, it depends where you are in the park. But sorry,
Hmm.
guys, we're ignoring your questions. Brian, do you have any you want to answer?
I haven't looked through them in a minute, but let me see.
I'll let you look. I'll keep talking. Yeah, so I will be Facebook Living from the party on the 14th November, and I will be Facebook Living my first time having a Dole Whip and a citrus swirl. I'm going to try both because I haven't tried either. So if that's something you guys care to watch, or if I should just make that a YouTube video, let me know your preferences. We do these videos for you either way. So,
All right, so here's Janet has one about online check-in, basically asking should you do it? Or is there any downside to doing the online check-in ahead of time?
it depends. Right? Do you want? Okay, you're drinking water. I can answer this one.
Oh, I thought you were going to answer that. And that's
My coffee's kicking in. Oh my gosh, so much energy. Okay, so it depends. If you are using our room request feature to make a room request, do not use the Disney check-in because it will kind of void out our.
Well, it's not entirely true. If you're making a room request, don't request anything through online check-in. You can still do it, but then there's a separate thing that asks if you have any requests. Don't make a request if you're using our room request feature, because they will use that. They will just look at that and basically ignore anything else from what we've been told. So, and you can't be nearly as specific with theirs as you can with ours. You can do like near the lobby, near transportation, first floor, and that's kind of about it. So, but the rest of it's okay. The big bonus now with the online check-in is that when your room is ideally, this is how it works. When your room is ready, they will text you the room number. And if you have a Magic Band already, which if you have a resort reservation, you should be sent your Magic Bands in advance, then you can just go to the room, use your band to get into the room. You don't have to go to the lobby at all.
And that's really nice.
That is very nice when it works. I'm at like a 50% success ratio on them actually sending me the room number.
Yeah, we haven't gotten the text before, which is a pain because then we're walking around or waiting an extra hour in like airplane clothes and your room's ready. You have no idea.
Yeah, and then at like 4 o'clock from the Magic Kingdom, I'm calling and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's been ready for hours." I'm like, "Oh, right, thanks."
But yes, thank you for clearing that up. If you made a room request, you can still check in, but don't make another room request. Like, don't double up.
Yeah. They don't love that.
That's what I meant to say. Okay, new question. Let's see. Daniela, did you get to this? Will the mobile order at restaurants be on the dining plan someday?
I did not get to that, no. And we don't know. I don't see why not. There's no technical reason why it's not, or you can't use the dining plan for mobile ordering already. In mobile ordering, real quick for those that don't know, you can, through the My Disney Experience app, you can now, not almost all, but 70% of the quick service restaurants in the parks now, you can pre-order your food. Then when you get near the restaurant, you click a button, they start making it, and then it tells you when it's ready. It's really, really nice. There's on our YouTube page, I did a video. One of our bloggers just posted something on blog.touringplans.com this week all about it. Oh, thank you. So it's a really nice service, but you can't use any discounts. You can't use the dining plan. You have to pay by credit card. But there's no real technical reason why they haven't done it.
Still kind of in testing mode in a way.
That's the only thing I can think of, is that maybe as a way to, it is a load leveler basically to keep the usage under control. They didn't add the discounts or the dining plan because they figured, well, this way fewer people would use it until we make sure that we can handle it. But I imagine they will if it works. It's impossible to tell with Disney and their IT decisions. They make some very strange management level decisions with their IT stuff. So who knows, but I would hope so. It's really, really nice. I mean, I have an annual pass and I can get like a 10% discount at some of these places. And in the past, I have foregone the discount to be able to use mobile ordering at busy times because it's so much easier.
No, I can see that. I just saw a question and then I clicked out of it and it was something about going with ages 11 and a niece who will be 5. When's the best time to go to Disney World? This is by Amy. Also, what hotel is the best to stay at for a large family when there will be 10 of us going? Amy, with your question, you said what is the best time to go? Are you asking the best time of year or the best ages for the kids going? Because I noticed you put those ages in. Best time to go overall is I really like February. Sometimes you'll have a chance that there will be rain or it might be colder, but overall I like that time around the Princess Half Marathon. Or January is a really nice time. Those are personal preferences to me. I don't like to go during the busy time.
Best time of year, yeah, that's what she was asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it depends whether your kids' school schedules and whether you're willing to take them out of school. If you are willing to take them out of school for a little bit, then that opens your options up greatly. Yeah, I would say either, end of January through most of February. President's Day, that week in February gets a little bit busier, but anything else in that range. September is also a really good time crowd-wise. It's still pretty hot, but the crowds are lower. If you don't want to take them out of school, then I would say go either, depending on their school schedule, go either right when they get out of school in May, June, or right before they go back to school in August, depending on how that works. Like the school my kids go to, we don't go back until right at the end of August, sometimes like September 1st. So we'll go like that last like week or so in August. It's not great. It's super duper hot and it's still kind of crowded, but it's better than going in, the middle of the summer. Although honestly, last couple of years, the middle of the summer has been a little bit less crowded than it used to be because they changed the ticket policies and they have a lot of the locals now. You can get a cheaper annual pass that you're blacked out for a lot of the summer. So even that's not bad. I would say, take a look at our crowd calendar if you are a subscriber and check that out because that will help a lot. But yeah, it kind of depends. As far as where to stay, obviously,
range.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're going to need multiple rooms no matter what, unless you're looking at a grand villa at one of the DVCs, which most people are not. Yeah. But other than that, I mean, it depends kind of the breakdown. If you need, 2 rooms with 5 people per room, that limits it a little bit, then like Portland's Riverside, a bunch of the deluxes can deal with 5 people in a room reasonably comfortably. If you're looking at 3 rooms, going with one of the moderates or even one of the values and getting 3 rooms or 4 rooms, sometimes will, be about the same price as 2 deluxe rooms, but maybe a little bit easier on your relationships if you're spread out a little bit more. But
you know what I noticed for this upcoming week when the Walt Disney World weekly preview is out today, and that's the one that I write up. And I noticed that the crowds for Halloween week are really low for 3 or 4 days in the middle of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was seeing like 3s and 2s, and I mean it's a holiday week, and it's right before the Food and Wine half marathon. Is that typical, Brian?
Yeah, because it's a holiday, but it's not a holiday people get off of school from. And that factors a lot into the crowd calendar ratings. Is we take a lot of school schedules from all the major school districts in the country, and it's not a time that a lot of people have off. So that's some of it. Like the Halloween parties on, Halloween and November 1st will be pretty busy. But a lot of that too is like locals or semi-locals that aren't there for a week. So that's, and this traditionally, this has always been a pretty low period. And, in between Thanksgiving and Christmas used to be that one's picking up a little bit. But October, November, really, that's why they keep expanding the Food and Wine Festival, is because it's drawing people there at a time when people didn't used to go there at all. So So yeah, it's not unusual.
I do want to try out the Festival of the Arts. That seemed
Mm-hmm.
really interesting to me. It seemed like a lot of fun because I'm a dramatic, musical, blah 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 person.
I will be there for that too, for
Will you?
one of the
Okay.
weekends. Towards the end of January, I will be there
Are you
for
going with
that.
your family?
Nope, for work. I will be covering the Festival of the Arts, the Disney, the Magic Kingdom After Hours, and
Oh yeah.
the Morning Magic. There's one weekend in January where all three of those are going on, so I will be there for like 3 days doing that. So
And
staying
Brian will
staying
get
in
no
three
sleep for
staying
3
in three
days.
different hotels. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Brian gets to have all the fun, you guys. I'm just here for the ride. Someone asked about summarizing the reservation finder. I will link. We have a YouTube playlist that kind of goes through those back to the basics questions as far as how to make a room request, how to use the reservation finder, yeah, stuff like that. So I will post that to whoever asked that, which I can't find the question. I will call out your name when I find Dorothy. It was Dorothy. So I will do that now. Sorry.
Let's see here. Wendy has a question. They'll be there in April for FastPass Plus selections. Can she pick all of them for the 5 days at the 60-day mark, or just one day at a time? You can, if you have a Disney resort reservation, which you would have to make them at 60 days, then you would be able to make it. It's a kind of a confusing thing to explain. We always refer to it as the 60 plus 10 rule. So it works that way with dining reservations as well, where or actually no, you know what? I might be thinking of dining reservations. Am I? You can't do the plus 10 with fast passes, can you? I think it's just dining reservations that they allow that. I think the fast passes, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure the fast passes you have to make one day at a time. Dining reservations you don't. Dining reservations at the 180-day mark you can make for up to 10 days after your check-in day. So you can actually make them 190 days in advance if you have a 10-day resort reservation. Fast passes, they don't do that. That is one day at a time. So you will have to be online every day at 7 a.m. Eastern so you can make your fast passes. She asked when the 60-day window opens. It will be precisely 60 days before. If you are a touring plan subscriber and you go into your dashboard, it will tell you. It depends on. If you just take your date minus 60, that's exactly what the date is. So she didn't have the date. She just said April. So I can't do it for an
all of these new questions for some reason.
I feel like we're so far behind. I keep scrolling and there are so many good questions here. I'm trying to read.
We do get these questions pretty frequently, so I just want to address it because a lot of people have this question, is if you can't get a fast pass for Flight of Passage, what's the best way to reduce the time you'll wait in line? Someone asked that a little further down. The best way is to just get there before rope drop.
Yep.
Get there as early as you can, at least a half hour. If not earlier, then run straight there.
Yeah.
And that will minimize your wait for sure.
Yeah, I just if you look on our YouTube page, I just did maybe 2 weeks ago a video about Animal Kingdom, specifically about that question, as when to get to the park, and the answer is right about an hour early. You can get there earlier than that, and you will definitely be one of the first ones in line. At an hour, you should be on Flight of Passage pretty close to park opening, within 15 or 20 minutes, and then that kind of frees you up for the rest of your day. If you get there, the closer to opening you get there, the longer you will end up having to wait for Flight of Passage. So if you get there 15 minutes before opening, you might still have to wait an hour to get on the ride. So the total time spent is still an hour and 15 minutes, but now you're an hour later into the day, and it puts you behind on the rest of the stuff, kind of. That is, from a touring perspective, that is the best plan. From a sleep perspective, it's not great. especially, you know, if you're there at a busier time and the park opens at 8, getting there at, you know, 6:30 or 7 in the morning. It doesn't sound awesome, but they, you know, other than that, there's not really a trick. Keep trying for those fast passes, even the same, you know, on that day, keep looking. I know right before closing, sometimes it'll drop a little bit, but we're still talking 30 or 45 minutes. That line just doesn't really go below about 45 minutes at any point. And we really thought it would by now. We thought once schools went back, once it hit September, that it would go into a normal headliner attraction time where it would be 30, 45 minutes in the morning, you know, peak at 75 or 90 minutes in the middle of the day, and then start going back down. And it hasn't. It stays at an hour, 2 hours all day long. It's ridiculous. Since I've been working at Touring Plans, I don't think I've ever seen an attraction have such prolonged waits this long into its run. Radiator Springs was like that in California Adventure for a while, but even that started to come down after a little bit of time. And there's it's no slowing Flight of Passage. So you haven't done it yet, have you?
I haven't. I hope to do it while I'm there, but you know,
we'll your kids aren't tall enough for it yet, right?
I know. So like the fun rides. My daughter wants to do all the, you know, the roller coasters and the tall rides, but she's too little. I've received this question a lot, and I have not been able to give a good answer, so I'm glad you're here. At what point do you think Touring Plans may or may not add special dining to the reservation finder? I think that'd be really tricky because the dates come out so, like, you know, sporadically, what, every 3-month chunks?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends. I think, I don't know. And I don't know enough about the technical aspects of how it's done. It's possible, I'm sure. It just kind of depends on how much time we actually need to put into it. I'm sure if there is enough demand for it, we probably will. It depends though, because some of the special things aren't that hard to find reservations for either. Some are, some aren't. So yeah, I don't know. I wish I could answer that. I can't.
It's hard to put in a date if the dates haven't been released yet.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, we can't do anything that isn't on the Disney website. So that, of course, you know, we can't do it in advance. But and yeah, for those who don't know, we have a reservation finder at Touring Plans that you can put in you pick a restaurant, you know, a time you want to go to the restaurant. Presumably something that you can't find a reservation for, because otherwise you could just do it through Disney's site, and then it will text or email you if it finds a reservation. But you still have to click the link in the text or email and go to Disney's site to book it. That is for legal reasons. We can't make them for you. So, but it helps a lot. I've made several reservations through it, actually, for character meals and things like that.
I've had a lot of luck with it. In that playlist that I linked in the comments, it has a video explaining how you do it, and with visuals of me doing it.
Nice.
So you can kind of see how it is. It's really helpful. I see a question by Amanda. Best way to get into Magic Kingdom with a side-by-side double stroller. Do I have to take the monorail from the parking lot to the entrance or walk? Can you help? You know, the thing with the strollers in general is if you're taking a bus, for example, you have to fold them up. You always have to, and with a double stroller, you will definitely need to. So a bus would probably be the most inconvenient. With the monorail, depending how busy it is, you may need to fold it up. But if it's not very crowded, then you can probably just leave it open with your kids in it.
Although I'm not sure a double, because they have the 2 bars in the middle of the monorail car. I'm not sure. It depends whether you can squeeze a double stroller in between that or not.
Right.
If you can't, you still would have to fold it. The only thing I
Depends
know
how
of that you
wide it is.
definitely don't are like the friendship boats that go between Epcot and Hollywood Studios. They have a big space in the back for strollers
Yep.
and things. So then you definitely don't
Coming
have to.
from too.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're driving, you would either have to take the ferry boat or the monorail from the TTC. I don't know, the ferry boat, you can probably push a stroller straight onto there, can't you? I don't think you have to fold it up to get on the ferry. It's been a long time since I've been on the
Yeah,
ferry.
I don't think you would.
Um,
I've taken the boats quite a few times. I don't think you need to.
So if you take the big ferry boats from the Ticket and Transportation Center, I don't think you have to fold them up from there. So if, the kids are sleeping or something, that would be a better option to get back to the car. But
Bill said, how do I get to Blizzard Beach from Hollywood Studios?
oh,
Well, Blizzard is closed.
well, yeah, right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
until
right now.
until New Year's, I think. Basically, every year over the winter they close each of the water parks in turn. So Blizzard Beach gets like October through December, and then Typhoon Lagoon is like January through March or something of that.
I would personally say to just walk to either the Yacht Beach or Boardwalk and take a bus to Blizzard Beach there.
Yeah, not anymore. Now to get to the water parks, in fact, this is something one of our users just emailed me about this morning because it changed and I have to update all the hotel pages on our website. Now to get to the water parks, you have to take a separate bus, and I believe it's to both of them. I know it's to Typhoon Lagoon.
From where?
From Disney Springs. So you have to take a bus to Disney Springs and then a bus to one of the water parks, and you have to transfer buses.
Oh my gosh.
So you have to get up.
Pain.
It sounds awful.
Wow. Unless you could take a minivan if you're staying at the resort that's testing them.
Yeah, or you can always do ride sharing, Uber and Lyft. That would honestly be if it was me, that's what I would do probably, is something like that. Oh no, it says to Blizzard Beach, you'd need to take a bus to Animal Kingdom and then a bus from Animal Kingdom to Blizzard Beach. Is how it was, at least is how that one works. It's just Typhoon Lagoon, you have to go to Disney Springs. Blizzard Beach, you have to go to Animal Kingdom. Yeah, they made it
think about
way more
that
painful.
On the way home, when you're all wet and you have to take 2 buses back to your resort.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that just sounds like such a pain. I guess I get it because as far as them coming to your resort, probably not the most time efficient for using the buses because not a ton of people are going there versus the parks. But that is just...
Well, it used to be that the Animal Kingdom buses stopped at Blizzard Beach just all the time. Whenever it was open, they would go from the resort to Animal Kingdom and then to Blizzard Beach and back to the resort is how it went. And now they I guess, figured that not enough people were going to Blizzard Beach from there. And I see Melinda there has a good point. If you're using like Uber or Lyft, if you're wet, most of them won't take you. So you either have to make sure you're real dry or, cross your fingers, I guess, if you're doing that. Because, I was just looking into this because I want to shoot video at Typhoon Lagoon. And I won't have a car. And I just realized, and I was like, oh, this is going to be so annoying to get there. So because I won't be actually in the water, I might just like take a lift or something to get there myself. But
it'd be faster.
Yeah, we went when my family and I were there over the summer. We went to both water parks, but we had a car, so we just drove. And driving is super easy because you don't have to pay for parking or anything. The lots are just open. They're not that big, so you're not like miles and miles away. But yeah,
I'm a little annoyed by that.
I know, isn't it?
It's like a way to reduce crowds going there.
Yeah,
no one's gonna want to work that.
Yeah, they changed that back in May. It looks like so.
Where have I been?
Yeah.
I never go to the water parks though.
Well, and obviously not that many because it's been since May that our hotel pages have been out of date, and literally today was the first time somebody told us about it. So obviously it's not something that a lot of people necessarily consider.
Oh yeah, which says a lot too.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, the water parks seem to be plenty busy when we were there. Now, again, it was August, so.
Right, it's hot.
But I mean, this change that does make sense, because I remember as we were walking out to the car, there was really only people at one bus stop, and I was just thinking, oh, maybe that's the only bus stop, and all the buses stop there. Well, it turns out there's only one bus. So, but yeah, doesn't that sound awful? Like having to take a bus from, or to Animal Kingdom. Let's say you're staying at Coronado Springs, which is literally across the street from Blizzard Beach, and you have to take a bus to Animal Kingdom just to take one all the way back. Like that, I'd rather just try to. If I didn't have my kids, I'd just try to cross the street myself.
Yeah, well, no kidding. I can totally understand that. We are getting some Rivers of Light questions.
Ooh.
Someone did ask if you needed a fast pass for Rivers of Light, and then Amy here is talking about booking a Rivers of Light dining package. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts?
Well, you don't need a fast pass for it. I mean, it depends on how crowded it is that day, but for the most part, you can get an all right seat for it, getting there like half hour before or so. If you get there 45 minutes to an hour before, you can get a really good seat. And you can still even get a seat if you're probably 15 or 20 minutes before the show. After that, you're looking at the standing room or not being in the theater area at all. With the Fast Pass, you still have to get there. I don't remember exactly what the times are on it, but you still have to get there. I think it's something like 15 to 30 minutes beforehand anyway.
So what's the difference?
Yeah, so if you're going to get there a half hour before, you may as well just skip the Fast Pass and go get a seat. So, or you can just get there 45 minutes before and get a pretty good seat. So it's tough to recommend that. Plus, if you use that as one of your pre-booked Fast Passes, you can't get an additional Fast Pass for the day until you've used all of your pre-booked ones. So with that being later at night, that means you have no chance at getting a fourth or fifth Fast Pass. Now, Animal Kingdom, you don't need a ton of Fast Passes, and the odds that you would be able to get like another Flight of Passage one are slim anyway. So, but if you want to ride Safari at night or do Dinosaur a couple of times, you can usually get Fast Passes for like Dinosaur or sometimes Everest, things like that, same day. So you don't necessarily need one. The same with the Rivers of Light dining package. That one, at least you get the meal with it. So if you wanted to eat at one of the places anyway, and you check out the prices, and it wouldn't be that much extra for you to get the dining package, it all depends on what you would order and that kind of stuff. But then I could see maybe jumping for that one because you get the bonus out of it. But
you're getting it anyway.
Yeah.
I like Scott's question. What is the one thing you both need to do on a trip to Walt Disney World? I need to see Cinderella Castle. I need to just walk onto Main Street. I need to walk around the corner and see the castle. That's what I need to see. I love to roam the shops in there, not necessarily buy anything. I need to experience the atmosphere of Magic Kingdom. I wouldn't even say it's my favorite park. I think it's between that and Epcot, and it really depends on the day for me. I don't know why, but that's one thing I need to do on every trip.
Yeah, now it's funny because I've been there enough in the last 5 or 6 years that there's nothing really anymore that I think before I go, okay, I have to do this. But yeah, that's kind of me too. Like I've really started to appreciate just the atmosphere of it. I love wandering on Main Street. I love Animal Kingdom for that. I love just walking through Africa, Asia, Pandora now. Epcot, the World Showcase pavilions, I could spend and have spent several hours just walking through. Like, I really like that stuff more than I like any particular attraction or food item or anything like that. Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean are ones that I like doing every time I'm there, but I know, I can close my eyes and roll through it all in my head now. So it's hard to say I have to do that stuff like that.
We definitely want to hear your answers. I know that Tom answered and said the night shows and fireworks are his favorite. We want you guys to write down your answers because I like hearing your opinions. I like to hear what you love to do. And I feel like since I had kids and I go off of their schedule, the rides used to be a huge priority to me. And they still probably would be if I didn't bring my kids. But because I do have them with me, you know, I've learned to appreciate just kind of being in the moment and being around the atmosphere. And that's what I love so much about the World Showcase is that you can just grab a drink and you can just walk around and really explore every crook and cranny. Especially, I just think Morocco is so cool because they sent their architects and builders to actually build that pavilion from Morocco. So
Yeah,
that's definitely
Morocco's the best one. I also liked when they used to, Rose and Crown, they used to sell the half yards that were like the foot and a half glasses of beer. Haven't done that in a long time, but that was fun too.
Imagine carrying that around Epcot. It's like
I've
half
done
your
that.
body.
Yeah, in fact, I was there like not long after I turned 21. I think I probably went through too many of those.
Do you remember walking around the World Showcase?
Vaguely.
Not that time.
So Amy has a question. Apart, not including character dining because her kids are 18 and 23, what restaurants do you highly recommend as being worth the money and experience? So what are your favorite restaurants, non-character related, Angela?
You know, I have learned to really appreciate the Wave. I would have said it was just one before that I'd be like, okay, it's a restaurant. But I've now been there several times, and I've been there several times for dinner and then breakfast recently. And I really appreciate their food. You know, the breakfast is more of a buffet, but still good. I mean, it's a buffet, whatever. The breakfast or the dinner, though, I really like their meat. They have some kind of like it tastes like roast beef, but it's not roast beef, and they just have this like wine reduction sauce and mashed potatoes and carrots, and it's so good. So that's one that I appreciate. You know,
Yeah,
I wouldn't necessarily make it a point to go there every time, but I
yeah.
appreciate it.
No, the wave is pretty good. I saw Tom pointed out Jico, which Amy said that that they were. It sounds like they were looking more for in park. Jico and Boma both at Animal Kingdom Lodge and Sanaa at Kidani Village are all fantastic restaurants. And Animal Kingdom Lodge is actually a fantastic place to visit. So if you're going to go, if you want to see like one of the other resorts, that could be a nice, few hours to go, take a bus from a park to Animal Kingdom Lodge, eat dinner, just walk around, look at the savannah. That's really nice. In park, Tiffin's at Animal Kingdom is really good. It's a little bit more adventurous than a lot of the Disney restaurants, which I like. But just be warned. A lot of the newer stuff actually is really good. Skipper Canteen in the Magic Kingdom is pretty good. Be Our Guest is certainly interesting. I think the food is a little bit overrated there and, well, overpriced there, I'll say. It's good food, priced like great food, but the building itself is amazing.
Beautiful.
Epcot is great for this stuff. I mean, so many of the restaurants in World Showcase are really good. I like Via Napoli, the pizza place in Italy is great. I like Rose and Crown. It's really... simple British food, which, depending on what you think of British food, but I like it. So,
Tapenito?
Tapenito, yeah, that is,
the experience.
yeah, that's great.
Really cool.
Yeah, that's the hibachi place in Japan. So
I've done that several times, and if you're not going to do a character meal, but you're still bringing your kids, that's a really good option because the kids are kind of getting entertained by the chef, and the chef is really sweet. He cut up my daughter's food for her before he served it to her, so the pieces wouldn't be too big.
Yeah.
They do the volcano out of onions. As far as Hollywood Studios,
Brown Derby. It has to be.
Brown Derby is delicious. Oh my gosh, what did I have? I had another beef dish. It was amazing.
But actually, the nice thing with the Brown Derby, they have that lounge area that's outside, and there's a couple tables inside that you don't need reservations for. They serve like sandwiches, and you can still get like drink flights and things out there. And especially if you go like at odd times, go to lunch at 11 or dinner at like 4:30 or 5, you can usually get a seat pretty easily in there, and you can get a lot of the same stuff from the menu out there.
I agree with Scott as far as the 50s primetime diner. You know, it's not going to be amazing food. It's just that home cooked meal. Like I had pot roast. It's my favorite meal. It tasted really good there. And that's just kind of a fun experience. Mom comes around and makes you take off your hat at the table. The waiter was calling me princess. And, you know, that's also kind of a fun experience. And then the sci-fi diner as well.
Yeah, sci-fi is definitely interesting experience-wise. The food is better than it used to be. I still don't know if I'd say it's great, but it's a very cool place anyway.
If we're looking at it like experience-wise, because the character meals don't have the most amazing food, you know, so if you're looking still for the experience over the food, then yeah, those are good choices. Let's see, what else do we got? Tom said the venison at Brown Derby is amazing, and the grapefruit cake. I'm not a
I've never had either of those. Yeah, interesting.
Having a hard time finding your new dining calculator on the site. Any tips on how to help me find it? After this stream, Jennifer, I will go and try to help you out with that and try to link it below.
Yeah, as far as I know, I think it only pops up if you're a subscriber, where you get, when you go to touringplans.com, you get your personalized dashboard. If you set up a trip on there, I think that's when it will pop up. There will be a dining link. I know that will happen. I don't know if there's a way to get to it otherwise, but yeah, Angela can look for you afterwards.
You have to have gotten a subscription, Brian, not basic access, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Sorry, guys. I keep
let's see.
all of
I know we're getting so many questions. I feel like I'm so far behind. Amanda asked, "Is it better to do the safari at night, or what is the best time to do the safari?" Have you done the night safari?
I haven't, but I have watched footage. I have a video where I did the day footage and then the night footage.
That's right.
And I overviewed it. So if you want to kind of get an idea of what you're going to see, that's a good video to refer to.
I've almost done the night safari. We did it.
What does that mean?
We did it like intending. I'd made a fast pass like right around sunset time, intending to do with when I was there with my family, because we wanted to see the night safari. It turned out we got a really awesome like sunset safari where the sun was literally going down and lighting everything up. It was gorgeous, but they did have the lights on for the safari already, so you could kind of get a little bit of an idea how it looked. And yeah, I've seen your video and other videos about it. So the night safari is weird. I'd recommend the daytime one if you're only going to do it once. The night safari, they have, like on the savannah, they have a kind of fake sunset looking thing that looks very cool. The rest of it is really, it's very low lighting, so it's kind of hard to see stuff. And those animals have been trained for 20 years on, being awake during the day and sleeping at night. So a lot of them are still just sleeping at night. Best time to go is tricky, because I've been, in fact, in one day for research, I went on it, I think 4 times just to see if there was a difference. And there was, but I can't necessarily say any were better than the others. The early morning one was probably the best one because it was cooler and more animals were active, but we still saw different animals each time, and they were in different spots, and sometimes the lions were awake, sometimes they weren't. So it's one of those really, really random attractions. If you can only do it once, I would suggest sometime in the morning, but I would also suggest probably going more than once.
Yeah, as far as the best time to go if you're looking to reduce a wait, our website says as soon as the park opens, or about 2 hours before closing, or just get a fast pass plus reservation for it. As far as when the animals are most active, Brian kind of covered that up already. So, but it is a very cool attraction, definitely worth seeing. And if you're really into it, don't they have the Wild Africa Trek tour that you can take just to see animals up close, which everyone I've talked to has loved that tour. I
did that once a few years ago. It's amazing. It's expensive, but it kind of felt worth it because, yeah, you got to climb over these rickety old, not really rickety, but they look rickety bridges across the crocodile pit, and you get a lunch in the little hut that sits out on the savannah, and you get to just watch the animals walk around. It's very, very cool.
Well, and don't you pass that hut when you're actually taking the safari?
Yep.
So you can see people dining there.
Right after you go past the curve, and they explain about the termite mounds, and then you take the left and kind of go up the hill. It's up on your right there. Yeah.
It's like a gazebo type thing. So if you're wondering why there are people eating there, they're doing the Wild Africa Trek tour, which we would recommend doing. And then, of course, my favorite tour was the Keys to the Kingdom one, which is at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, I've never done that one. The 4-hour tour time always scares me.
No, oh no, Brian, it's 8 hours.
Oh, 8 hours, that's right.
It's an 8-hour tour. But, like I've said
oh, that's right. We've done this before because I started singing the Gilligan's Island theme, which I almost just did again.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. I remember the conversation now.
If you watched this before, it goes by really quickly. You would not think it would. You would think it would just go on, but it went very fast. It was very, you just learned so much. And you learn about the utilidors. If you don't know what that is, I'll save the suspense for you to take the tour.
I've heard they're not that exciting to actually see, but you know.
Yeah, that part itself, it's like we're going to the utilidors, and once you're there, you're there for like 20 minutes, and then you've pretty much seen the walls, But it's still a very cool experience. I was a fan. I recommend the trip. And I did the Epcot Segway tour when they still did the Segway tour. You learned how to use a Segway.
Oh, I did that one too, yeah.
You got to like go literally through the pavilions, and I was so afraid that I was going to break something or knock something over. I didn't, but that was a really cool tour too. It was before the World Showcase opened.
I know, that stinks that they did away with that. That was a lot of fun because it was like a 3-hour tour, 3 hours. And it was like the first half hour was them just teaching you to use the Segway, which was fun. And some people, I got it okay. Like once I got it. There were some people that the whole time were just spinning back and forth, and of course there's cast members there to help. But
I still have my pin.
Oh, I think I lost mine at some point.
My Segway pin is supposed to move there. It's very cool, though. I wish they still did that. They do an Epcot tour now where you kind of do the same thing, which is get a history of the pavilions and learn about trivia and blah, blah, blah. But it's without the Segway, and that was like half the fun.
Because when there's nobody on that promenade or in the pavilions, there's a lot of space there. So you can, there's a couple times they let you get up a little bit of speed and stuff on that.
Oh, yeah.
You can still take, Fort Wilderness still has a Segway tour that you can, that you can roll around Fort Wilderness. I haven't done that one, but as far as I know, that's the only Segway tour left on property. I think they used to have like 3 of them, but I don't know if they weren't popular enough or if the Segways were too much insurance problems. I feel like they must have had to carry. Yeah, I feel like they must have had to carry some decent insurance to run those because, I mean, not that they don't carry a ton of insurance for the theme parks anyway, but.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's noon and my family just got home, so I have to go.
Yeah, I think it's probably about that time. It's been an hour. So I did explain to the people earlier that we were probably going to turn these into podcasts that we will put up, along with a general touring plans podcast that will come at some point. I saw somebody, and I can't scroll back that far. I know at least one person asked about Pardon the Pixie Dust podcast, which hopefully will also return in some form or another. So I can't say when exactly because there are technical things that we have to figure out, but lots of stuff. And watch, we're still talking about doing a second Facebook Live show. We probably can't do both of them every week, but we will do at least one per week where we will do more like a game show type thing with Angela and I, and you can play along. So yeah,
see what you guys like.
Yeah. So if you have any suggestions of formats we can use, go ahead and send them because we can't figure it out. So.
And this will be uploaded to YouTube later today. So if you missed this stream, you can go watch it there every week.
Yep. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Angela.
Thanks so much. much. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.